Aqua Pools and Spas, www.aquapoolsllc.com. Email info.aquapool@aol.com. Cell phone 717-817-3066. Pool Construction Guide. How long will it take? We'd like to tell you right to the day when you can expect to be in and splashing. But each pool is different, and there are variables such as soil conditions and climate to consider. But on the average, normal installation time runs about 40 working days after excavation. Remember, there will be times when our crew can't be working because they and you will be waiting for inspections, curing of concrete, and the like. We'll get the job done as fast as possible, but give us the time to do the job right. Making changes. Once you've decided on a pool plan, the best way to proceed is according to the plan, that exact plan. It will cost you less if you can avoid last-minute changes, or, perish the thought, any alterations during actual construction. Can you make changes? Of course, and we'll help you, but changes do cost money. That's why our pool planning specialists work so closely with you before your pool is started. It saves you time, trouble, and money. Congratulations! You've taken that first big step toward having a swimming pool of your very own. You've signed the contract and taken the plunge. For most people, a pool is dream stuff. For you, it's about to become a reality, and we're glad you chose us to make it happen. We'll need your okay. Any change from your original contract requires your written approval. This is called an addendum and requires your signature. It also requires us to notify you of any price change resulting from the change. This practice is for your protection as a buyer. As a further protection, you must okay in writing the formed layout, location, and elevation of your pool prior to excavation. This way you can be sure you're getting the pool you ordered exactly where you want it. And progress payments. Now let's talk about money. As your pool gets underway and at various stages of its construction will require progress payments. Prompt payment as we proceed helps our scheduling process and the logistics involved in creating a fine pool. Any delay in payment could prolong the time until you're enjoying your pool. Step by step. Building a pool is an engineering feat that takes place in your own backyard. If you ignore it, you're missing one of the greatest shows on earth. Instead, take an interest in what's going on. It will help you understand how a pool operates. Any delays or problems that may be encountered, and you'll have a front row seat watching some of the world's most skilled artisans busy at their craft. Here is a step-by-step preview of what you can expect. Plans and permits. First off, the plot plan of your pool and yard goes to our designers. When your pool design is completed, it is forwarded to your city or county building department for plan checking and building permits. How soon your permit is issued depends on how many plan checks are ahead of yours, and if there is a question about grading or if you are in a critical soil area, a building inspector may require visiting the site. Once the permit is issued, you're on the way. Excavation. This is the big day, so don't miss it. That hole in the ground is about to begin. Don't forget what we said earlier about you having to approve in writing the formed layout of your pool. Now is that time. Excavation. Unless your pool requires digging by hand, and you'll know that before you sign any contract, excavation will be handled quickly by the excavation crew. In normal soil, this takes about a day. If we encounter rock formations or water, you'll encounter some extra charges. But that is understandable, isn't it? An average size pool means we must dig about 24 truckloads of soil. That's a lot of soil, and you may want to keep some of it for use elsewhere on your property. If so, tell our excavation foreman. But once you've decided to keep some of the soil, it's yours. If you change your mind later, we'll have to bring back our trucks to cart it off, and that will cost you extra. Steel placement. This next step is less exciting than excavating, but is just as essential. Our crew will take long, round steel reinforcing rods, an absolute necessity to the structural strength of your pool, and bend them and shape them to the walls and floor of that hole in the ground. After they are firmly wired into position, voila! You'll see your pool starting to shape up. This takes about a day. Plumbing. If you can't change a washer on a faucet, or even if you can, you'll appreciate the finesse with which our plumbers install their maze of piping for the filtration system for your pool, including lines from the main drain, return lines, and lines leading to the pump and filter, and to the pool heater as well, if you have one. Our plumbers will install and test the underground plumbing at this time. Uniting. Before we can go ahead, we may have to have the building inspector okay your site in preparation for the structural shelf. If such inspections are required in your area, this could take several days. Which brings up an important document, the inspection card. We'll provide this card for the inspector sign-off as they're required during the various stages of your pool construction. Don't let anyone remove the inspection card. It must stay on the site until construction is completed and the final okay is given. At this time, your shell will be shot. It will be done in one day and will give you a strong monolithic structure which puts you one step closer to swimming. Curing. Here is the step where you may get into the act. You may be asked to spray water on the concrete with the fine spray nozzle of your garden hose. This is called curing, and you may have to do it for several times a day for a week or so to help assure a strong pool structure. We'll provide you with detailed instructions outlining what you should and should not do. At the most, total curing time for concrete runs from 10 days to 2 weeks. And don't worry about the water that may gather at the bottom of your pool. We'll pump it out later. Our concrete crew will take every precaution to protect your shrubs, trees, and buildings. Tile and coping. During or soon after the curing, our tile and coping crew will move in. They'll lay the colorful ceramic tile you've chosen in a 6-inch row along the top of your pool walls and cap it off with coping, the curved edging that goes around the perimeter of your pool. If you specified a cantilever deck, of course, the coping will be eliminated. Concrete deck. Now it's time to install the deck surrounding your pool. It's a big job and calls for specific skills. Look but don't touch unless you want to make a lasting impression. Finally, one word of advice before any concrete is poured. Checks to make certain that no pipes have been damaged. If we are not doing the deck work, we can't afford to be held responsible for any damage to plumbing work. So check out the piping with a sharp eye for defects or damage. Once concrete sets up, it's there to stay. If you have any questions during or after the construction of your swimming pool, please feel free to call us. Finishing. You'll be in the swim of things very soon now, because it's time to put the finishing touch on your pool, the surface finish. Once the finish is toweled and dry, the foreman will place a garden hose in the bottom of the pool and turn the water on. Once the water is turned on, don't turn it off until the pool is full. Otherwise, you will stain the pool with a ring around the perimeter. You can turn the water down, but do not turn it off. And don't be surprised or concerned if your water appears murky or green. It will be sparkling clean shortly. Electrical. Our electricians, or yours if you hire your own, will begin their work after the tile has been placed. Again, this work requires inspection. It is important to note here that all electrical work, yours or ours, must pass inspection before the decking is poured. If we employ the electrician, we automatically call for the inspection. Gas lines. If you have heater and the gas line runs under the deck, the gas line connection must be made before the decking is poured. An inspection may be required at this point. Please let us know when the inspector signs off the work. Inspection, inspection, inspection. It's a nuisance to some people, but it's for your own safety and protection of your pool investment. So, grin and bear it. Fencing. Today, most community building codes require fences, alarms on doors, and self-closing, self-locking gates. You know why, but you probably don't know the local requirements. We'll help you find out. Your fencing undoubtedly will have to be completed and inspected before we can proceed with your pool, so call us as soon as it's been okayed. Screen. The best feature of a screened enclosure is that it provides security both from dirt, insects, dust, and debris like fallen leaves, and unwanted visitors, snakes, uninvited guests, birds, and of course alligators. This keeps bugs, insects, bees, and all other tiny animals off your pool. Final cleanup. Our crew are as neat and tidy as they can be under the circumstances, but there's bound to be some messiness inherent in an engineering task the size of your pool. So be patient. You've passed the last stage of construction. Any residue left by our crews will be cleaned up at this time. We can't be expected to clean up after any outside contractors you may have employed, but we will clean up our debris. Pool startup. Soon after your pool has been surfaced and filled, we'll turn everything on. Our startup man will set the filter into operation and will instruct you on adding the first chemicals to the water. He'll show you how to operate the filter, the drain, the heater, everything. But until the startup man is on the job, don't experiment on your own. And don't, under any circumstances, add any chemicals to the pool without his guidance. Just follow the easy instructions and you'll get along fine. With the startup man comes your diving board, plus ladder rails and any special equipment you've ordered. All set? Get ready to splash. Pool maintenance. Once your pool is completed, you can turn your attention to family enjoyment, health, and safety in swimming. But don't forget to pay close attention to what our startup man has to say about the cleaning of your filter, the chemical balance of the pool water, and other pointers on pool care. They're all important to the full enjoyment of your pool. Don't be timid about asking questions. You'll get the answers. We'll provide you with a booklet that details the chemical care of your pool. And we don't just abandon you at this point either. Anytime you have an emergency or a situation you can't handle, call us. And one final word, enjoy. We care enough to build it better. Aqua Pools and Spas, www.aquapoolsllc.com. Email info.aquapool@aol.com. Call now, 717-817-3066.